We had better start this podcast off with a super not safe for work, not safe for home.
It's called trigger warning.
Well, a trigger warning is something that you put before like a video or an article or something that might be difficult for them.
Please stand by.
Okay, this is a take, everybody.
Just when you thought it was safe to listen to a nice, polite, upper Midwestern podcast, from Fargo, North Dakota comes the Trigger Warning Funtime Show, Episode 4. I'm Scratch Masterson.
And I'm Babyface Nelson.
I'm Superfan Ozzy.
I'm Jack Spade.
And I'm Burrito Supreme.
And, you know, as much as we appreciate you listening, the fact of the matter is we can't continue to do this without your support.
But for a small donation, you can ensure that we will be able to continue bringing you fine, quality programs such as this.
And if you pledge over $10, we're going to send you this Trigger Warning Funtime Show tote bag. Perfect for toting your shit around in.
Wow, is that made of real nylon?
It sure is.
Oh, this might be a donor on the phone now. Let me grab this quick. Hello, it's the Trigger Warning Funtime Show.
Hey guys, it's your old pal Hardhat. What's up, bitches?
Hey, Hardhat, were you calling in to make a pledge?
I wish. I'm afraid I don't have any money. I do, however, know where you guys can make some money. Have you ever thought about selling your hair for wigs?
Did you say selling our hair for wigs?
Yeah, I know a wig guy. In fact, I just sold him a bunch of my armpit hair. It's actually a pretty strange and sad story. My best girl and I had an anniversary coming up, so I sold a bunch of my armpit hair so that I could buy her some butt cream for her derriere.
Well, I gotta ask, what happened? Did she like it, Hardhat?
Well, by some tragic and ironic turn of events, when I went to present her with the butt cream, she informed me that she had had both of her butt cheeks removed so that she could afford to buy me some pretty ribbons and bows with which to decorate and adorn my armpit hair. Can you believe the irony?
Gee, that's pretty sad. Are you guys still together, Hardhat?
What? No, what are you, nuts? Who wants a girl with no ass? She looked like a freak. Oh, gotta run. Later, losers.
Bye.
Sure been a long time since we've heard from that guy.
You know, I think that he sounds younger every time he calls it. So, you guys, last night I was driving home and I got pulled over.
Uh-oh.
And it was really horrible. The good news is that the cop recognized me from the caricature that is all over the place for the other thing that we do involving microphones.
He knew you from the drawing?
From the drawing. Well, I had a pretty grumpy look on my face, and I happened to be wearing a green polo shirt at the time.
Perfect match.
And he said, hey, I know you. And so my slight local celebrity got me out of a ticket. And I thought to myself, I wonder if, like, real celebrities get that all the time. Because I've interacted with a lot of celebrities in my day, and I'm always gaga. I would do anything for them. Like, dig a grave, no sweat.
I bet even minor celebrities, like I'm sure the Kroll's Diner ladies, they probably get out of tickets. The ones that are still alive.
I was going to say, until they died.
Many of them are still around. I think there's only one left, maybe.
But even those people, when you run into them, you're a little starstruck. Like, hey, you're the lady on the TV commercial.
One of them was a substitute teacher here in Fargo. So whenever she would be our sub, it was a dream come true. She also was like a professional clogger.
I bet they never pay for drugs.
I ran into her in a convenience store one time. I said, oh, hey, what's on special today? And she said, I don't eat there.
Speaking of drugs and famous people, I have a slight story for you.
Okay.
I remember being at a show here in town at the Hub with local radio people from a different station. We were walking in from outside to have a cigarette, and one of the members from the band come up and asked the lady I was with if she knew where he could get a bump. And she said, yes, up here with us. And we start walking up the stairs to go to the VIP, and he taps me on the shoulder and goes, did she hear me right? I said, well, what'd you ask her? He said, well, I asked if I could get a bump. I said, yeah, you're not going to get that up there, but we'll get you a drink or two if you want, but no bump, sorry.
Right, and that's what she assumed he was talking about. Why don't you say what the band was?
It was Band Tango.
Bang Tango.
Bang Tango.
Yeah, right.
I ended up getting a bunch of drugs for WWE wrestlers.
You're kidding me.
No, this was years ago. Like I'm not going to say names because we're clearly a very global podcast, and I don't want to offend anyone or get anyone in trouble. But this was probably like 10 years ago. WWE was at the Fargo Dome. I was working at a gentleman's club, and a bunch of wrestlers came in. We kind of put them in their own VIP area. I'm just introducing myself. I'm like, hey, guys, I'm Jack from the radio station. Like, if I'm from the club. Anything I can do to help you out, just let me know. And I'm shaking the hands of the then WWE World Champion. And I say, if there's anything I can get you, let me know. And he pulls me in close, and he's like what? I was like, what do you need? And he's like, can you give me some nose? And I had to stop and cock my head back a second. I'm like, do you mean Coke? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, who the hell calls it nose? Like in this day and age.
Apparently guys in the WWE, huh?
Yeah, or like a plant from the police.
Are you a cop?
So, as far as famous people, I was going to say, have you met any really famous people? But I'm sure the WWE guys, those are probably about the biggest celebrities you could meet, right?
It was
fan
really,
of that.
like, as a huge wrestling fan, yeah, it was kind of cool. But then that whole night, it was kind of like when you find out that, like, Santa Claus isn't real, or like your dad's a raging alcoholic or something. Because, like, there was another wrestler that was making out with a stripper 2 weeks after getting married in real life to someone who clearly doesn't take care of him in that department. And then another wrestler was like hooking up with just a she-beast of a stripper, and I was like, what is going on? I don't know if this is real life anymore. So it was kind of awesome because I get this great story to tell for the rest of my life, but then it was kind of depressing.
It was like, you should make a video game out of that.
Right.
I would play that one night in F-Town.
It was like meeting Jenna Jameson and then realizing, like, my radio show co-host I was hanging out with was actually way prettier than her because Jenna Jameson looked so fake and phony up close. It was kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
I had a great experience the first time I went to Los Angeles. A buddy and I drove to Los Angeles. We stopped in Wyoming and then Vegas and Utah, and we had friends that we stayed with the whole way down. But in L.A., we were staying with a friend of my aunt that she went to high school with, who was the vice president of marketing for Universal Pictures. And so she had this huge mansion, and right away, my friend I was with recognized it. He goes, oh my God, this is the mansion that they shot most of season 2 of the show 24 at. And we were like, oh, well, that's interesting. And then we get in and we find out that Bing Crosby was the one who actually built this mansion. And then Jerry Van Dyke lived in it for a while before they bought it from him. Their backyard neighbor was Gary Marshall. And while we were there, you'll never guess who came over to borrow eggs.
Who?
Alan Thicke.
No.
Yeah, best friends, next door neighbors, best friends, and they had one of those big gates. And I mean, we're going crazy, right? With these Fargo guys, we're like, oh my God, you were on a sitcom that we watched as kids. You taught me it was okay to be who I am. And while we were leaving one time, and we were waiting for her gate to open, a woman had stopped because her dog was taking a crap right in the middle of the driveway. And so we're waiting, and finally he nudged me. He goes, I think that's Jennifer Love Hewitt. And sure enough, it was Jennifer Love Hewitt walking her dog, and she didn't pick up the poop either.
Oh.
That's
There's
right.
probably some poor person that's following her around to pick up her dog's poop.
Right. Yep. And I would take that job. Minimum wage. That's fine with me.
Alan Thicke, that's so cool.
Yeah, and he looks amazing too. Like, I mean, this is a couple years ago, but he looked just as good as he did on Growing Pains.
It would have been great to have him do some dialogue, like, now, Mike, you and Boner aren't going to that party tonight, are you? What about you? You see meet any famous people?
Yeah, I've met a lot of musicians over the years. Some that I've really wanted to meet, and some that I have not and haven't cared about. And actually, I think that my favorite 2 people that I've met, just because of how nice they were George Thorogood. Ridiculously nice guy, wanted to chat forever. Like, you go to these meet and greets and sometimes they just shuffle you through like your cattle, but he was amazing. And then Eddie Money, I've met him twice now, and he's a funny guy, and he's super laid back, and he's so like thankful to his fans. It was great.
Was this before or after the Geico commercials that he was in?
I didn't know he did Geico.
I think it was before, actually.
Before,
because those are pretty recent, right?
Yep.
Within the last year and a half.
Yeah.
My wife would be very jealous of that story.
The Eddie Money one?
The Eddie Money, yes.
Yeah.
That's one of her all-time favorites.
I mean, when you're up close with him, he doesn't look good, but super nice guy.
Because he did look like death in those commercials.
Burrito, I wish you would tell us your Aaron Carter story, because that's my favorite.
It's not like I wanted to meet Aaron Carter, mind you, but he was coming to the radio station where I was working, and someone else who was going to be interviewing him for another station I was working in the same room that I was working in, and she was asking, like, what are good questions to ask? And I was rifling off, like, the worst things that you could ask Aaron Carter just to throw her off and piss her off. And, like, things like, how's your brother, Nick? The more important Carter. And how, like, are you still on drugs? Or you get rid of that? How was rehab? Things like all these things. And I'm just rifling these off. We had also been doing this thing with the improv group that I'm in, where I have lost my filter with what's appropriate and what's not. So I have a weird frame of mind, and I'm going to leave the station. And of course, it's right when Aaron Carter and his posse is walking in. And so I end up like holding the door awkwardly, and then I get flustered for some reason, and I start rifling off these questions that I had been asking before. Like, oh, hey, Aaron Carter, huge fan. How's your brother Nick? Like, so glad that you got out of rehab. And like total foot and mouth. Like, I couldn't shut it off, and I just kept walking, and I turn around, and the front desk woman is staring at me like, I cannot believe you just did that. What is going on right now? But I didn't see him again, so nor did I get to take a picture with him or anything like that.
Big name celebrities.
He didn't answer any of my questions. So
Aaron Carter. That's
what a dick.
I lucked out because, I did artwork for Hustler for about 10 years. So through that, I ended up doing a caricature of Larry Flint for this Friars Club roast they were doing. And they asked me to come out for the Friars Club roast. And I thought, well, I can't afford that. So I ended up bringing a couple of radio show partners, and we did it as a radio thing. And when we got there was some confusion over our tickets. And we were just supposed to be in the main area. And I'm kind of hemming and hawing with this guy at the front. And here this lady who I'd been emailing back and forth about doing the caricature goes, oh, is that Scotch? He's up in the VIP. He did the artwork for the program. And I go, oh, yeah, we're up in the VIP. So we get on the elevator, and my partners are saying, are we really supposed to be in the VIP? I said, no, I don't think so. Step off the elevator. First thing we see is Gabe Kaplan. And Waters, who's hanging out with me, is a big fan of Kaplan. He goes, oh, it's so nice to meet you. And, Kaplan made some dumb joke, of course. But him and Larry Flint are big poker playing buddies. So then we walk through the party, and there's Pauly Shore, there's Eddie Griffin, there's Anna Nicole Smith, all these celebrities. And most of them were pretty cool because we got to just talk with them and mingle with them. Pauly Shore was a douche.
Get out of here.
Yeah, but the coolest guy, I'm standing in line, and all of a sudden I realize right in front of me, it's like Jimmy Flint and Ron Jeremy. So I go, I got to say something to Ron Jeremy. And I kind of tap him on the shoulder. I said, hey, I draw comics for Hustler. We should do a comic of you sometime like a superhero, like you're the Hedgehog. Oh, yeah. And then he would just rattle off one-liners, one after the other, like he just went through the Bad Party joke book or something. That's how he is. He's constantly joking. Bought me a drink. Super cool. Although I shook hands with him, and then we went and had this meal afterwards, and I couldn't help but think to myself, I did not wash my hands after meeting Ron Jeremy. And I thought, oh God, what could he have been doing with that hand? I don't even know.
It smells like Brill cream.
Yeah. But I'd say the most vacant, when I met Anna Nicole Smith and shook her hand, she just had a blank expression, like there was nothing going on up there. That was kind of sad.
Because probably you did not have money and were not 90.
Yeah. So she didn't care. Saw right through me. Yep. Oh, man. It's a busy day today. I better grab this. Good morning. Trigger Warning Funtime Show.
Hey, turds. It's the hostess with the mostest, Sheila Bloomquist. Are you recording your Turdcast right now?
Sorry. Who's this?
She's my tax accountant, but she scams me all the time. You guys, honestly, I should probably just look for new help with my taxes.
But like a camel in a desert, he always comes back to my water hole.
Oh, gross.
Listen up. I got you guys a sponsor. All you have to do is answer a few questions during your show, and they're going to pay you $50 a week.
Nice. So all we have to do is we get $50 just for answering questions?
Whoa there, tight jeans. Who do you think you are, the freaking king of Canada? 50 smackers to split between you. You can all have 10 apiece, or Scratch, Ozzy, and Jack can have all 15 and then give 5.
You guys, I'm not going to lie. I really need that money, so whichever way you decide is just fine with me.
Why do you need the money so bad?
He owes a masseuse $2,000. What a perv.
No, you guys. It's not like that. No. I was over the weight limit, and I accidentally broke her massage table. Sheila represented me in the court case. Originally, it was only supposed to be for $300, but Sheila somehow convinced them to knock it up to $2,000.
So what'll it be, boyos? Are you going to earn some sweet moolah, or should I just hang up now? Hold on. Don't you even think about eating that yogurt. That stuff keeps me regular. Sorry, Money, so we have a deal?
Sure, why not? It doesn't hurt to make some money and have a little content just for doing a survey. Who's this for?
A porno company I represent. It's called Quick and Thick Productions. They want to know what the average guy thinks about scenarios so they can bring you exactly the type of high-class but cheaply produced skin flicks you guys love.
All right, when can we expect a check?
You want to check right away, Jack? Why not come over to my house and you can fish it out of my girdle? I better be going. Have a cheese chalupa calling my name.
All right. You picked up some Taco Bell for lunch, huh?
Nope, that's what I call my grandson. His dad was a drug lord. His dad was a drug lord from Mexico, and his mom is from Green Bay. Cheese chalupa, get it? Later, butt dumplings.
All right, bye.
Bye, Sheila.
Thanks, Sheila.
So if you guys are interested in this, Sheila did send me an email we're supposed to all answer.
Oh, you've already got them.
Yeah, I do.
okay.
Let's do this, guys. Hey, what do you think?
Okay.
Sounds good.
I'm in.
If we're getting paid, what the hell?
All right.
So the first one, would you bob for apples, I'm using finger quotes, out of a gas station toilet? The apples are the turds. You get $100,000 per turd, and the supply is unlimited.
Well, okay, so
$100,000 a turd, unlimited supply of turds, but this is a gas station bathroom. They're not your own turds.
Do we get to know who supplied the turds?
I don't
Good
think.
question.
I think it's a grab bag.
So is it that they keep coming out of the drain to replenish, or it is like I got 4 of them out, and then all of a sudden some guy goes, "Excuse me," and then he's like, "Don't worry, I filled it up for you."
I think that it's like magic. They keep coming out of the drain, but like they're all different colors. They are all solid like an apple.
I hate to keep asking questions, but are we immune to any type of hepatitis or anything we might get from said
little
turds?
I don't think so.
If they keep showing up like magic, you have to assume that they're magic turds. So they're gonna be hepatitis free. They're probably just gonna be a little grungy, little.
Yeah, I'd do it.
Yeah.
You do it. See, here's my problem. I would want to do it, right? $100,000 per turd. I'm like, get me 5 turds, like sweet, you know. But I think that I would actually start throwing up, like when my face got close to the turds and the gas station toilet, like.
Ugh, and suddenly you got to fish it out of a vomiting
And
toilet now.
and then I would like I wouldn't actually be able to do it, and then the trying part would have been a complete waste, and I would be upset about it. So I think I'd have to say no.
I'm trying to think of what my strategy would be, whether I'd try and like suction cup the turd like through my lips, or if I'd use like my front teeth like a horse biting an apple. But my worry would be if I tried the bite, it would break apart and they'd be like, "Oh, that's only worth $1,000."
We're going to be dry heaving
Can't
through this
do it.
thing.
Or what if you tried to do it like lengthwise and it touched that little dangula in the back of your throat?
It's about to be the pie eating scene from Stand By Me in here real quick.
So do you have a pretty bad gag reflex? So, I mean, you're like literally gagging right now. So just thinking about it, you're about ready to go.
His mama said he would add
Are you kidding me?
We're not going to get through this without somebody yakking. Oh, you guys.
I think that this is the only one that makes me yak. The rest are just really disturbing on this list.
You're looking at Fargo's Newest Millionaire. So here you go.
Then in that case, I am not gonna, and I'm just gonna take out a loan from Ozzy.
Oh, perfect.
There you go.
The interest on that, though, is actually worse than bobbing for apples from a toilet.
You got to die someday, right?
What's the next scenario from Quick and Thick?
This is another gross one. We'll just get these out of the way. Drink a pint of semen, not your own, or a pint of period blood, not your own.
Oh, Sheila's twisted.
I'll answer this first. I will take the semen. Because I've had some experience with that, and it's not that bad.
As opposed to period blood.
Right.
Is it mine?
No,
For the period blood, obviously.
It says not your own.
Not your own. Okay,
For
so do
both.
I get to know who's it from? Who squoze it?
Sure. I guess.
Because that would be a deciding factor. Because I don't want to always walk down the hall and have Jack be like, "Hey," and say like,
Wait,
hey,
are you picking the semen?
I'm just saying that is a deciding factor.
I would
what
say
I'm going
that
to drink.
you can pick whose it is, but it is not your own.
Really?
Yeah.
So I could pick Richard Gere and Cindy Crawford and take myself all the way back to 1993.
If you want to.
You just don't want it to be somebody you know, like giving you a wink in the hall saying, "You got a pint of my baby batter in your belly."
It's like in that episode of Seinfeld where Kramer kind of holds it over Jerry a little bit that Jerry used his blood.
When you were asking that question, I didn't even hesitate to think about like, I'm gonna swallow Tom Hardy's goo. I didn't even think that you could pick like a hot supermodel for the period blood. What does that say about me?
Oh.
It's pretty sad we're in the same boat on that one. I'm like, well, yeah, the semen, I think, would be the way to go on that one.
I guess I'd go with the semen.
Okay.
I heard they pumped a quart of it out of Rod Stewart's stomach one time, so I guess if you're just doing a pint, it can't
But
be
we're not
too
getting
bad.
paid for that, though. Get $100,000
No.
for the turd, but nothing for...
Yeah, this is just, you have to do one or the other. Which one would you rather do?
Glad I ate all those turds.
The consensus on semen. Okay. Would you rather watch a porn starring your parents or watch a porn sitting in between your parents? Now, in this scenario, your parents are alive. If they are otherwise.
Well, I guess I'd rather watch with.
Yeah, me too.
With?
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable, but it's not as uncomfortable as watching them in one.
it?
Yeah.
In fact, I think that they'd probably be more uncomfortable than I am during that thing.
Okay.
And let's face it, I sat between my first grade teacher and my second grade teacher in a wacky twist of fate when I saw Jerry Maguire in theaters, and that first sex scene that comes up in Jerry Maguire, they both looked at me and I looked up at them, and it changed our relationship forever.
I remember sneaking in to see Risky Business, and my youth pastor was there. That was uncomfortable.
I went and saw Kramer versus Kramer with my parents, and there's a scene where the little boy's in the hallway, and his girlfriend, the father's girlfriend, comes out of the room with no top on.
Yeah.
And I just remember being horrified that, oh my God, I saw boobs with my parents.
Right. So how about watching a porno with your
I
parents?
would rather watch a porno of my parents
Really?
than have to sit between them and watch it.
Okay.
Because they don't need to know I'm watching the porno. It just
Right.
says I have to watch a porno of them.
Right. You don't have to like it.
Right.
But you probably
I just
will.
got to sit through it.
Hey, different strokes for different folks, buddy.
I've got a friend who stumbled upon a sex tape that his parents made.
I know the
And
friend.
he told us all about it, and it was so disturbing because like the parents had taped over like a pageant at their school on a VHS tape, and he was just like rifling through, and this was like a decade later, and just like, oh, I'll pop this in. Oh my god!
Well, I'm adopted, so I've never met my birth parents. So for all I know, all my my birth parents, I could have seen them film a porno.
Yeah.
So let's watch it with the parents.
Right. You maybe already seen it.
Yeah.
I would watch a porn sitting in between my parents. We all as a family watch Team America together, and
Oh, my Lord.
mean, you just replace the puppets and
Your mom would be so cool. She'd be like, "Does anyone want some snacks?"
yeah, right. Popcorn, anyone? And then here's another parents one. Would you rather watch your parents have sex every Friday night for the rest of your life, or participate once?
So twisted. Oh, that's a rough one.
What kind of production company is this? I've
It's
seen some weird stuff on the internet, but Thick and Quick sounds like they're making the weird stuff. I'm going to say this. I value my Friday nights. Like, I had a great time last night. And so if I had to give up every Friday night to watch my parents engage in coitus.
Because you don't want to do anything after that.
Right, exactly. Like, after that, you're going to bed and you're sucking your thumb and you're crying a little bit. So I would probably participate once, because participation, you can think about it like this: they're giving kids participation ribbons nowadays just for sitting on the sidelines.
You might as well just take a hold of that incestuous Band-Aid and just rip it off quick and get it over with, right?
I can be the one in the room like, anyone need any water? Anyone need any water?
Is everyone hydrated?
Oh no.
I had a friend in high school that he said his ultimate job in life would be working at pornos, being the guy that had to flip the LP to get the music going again, because he thought that's how it really worked. They're actually filming them and have live music on a record player playing, and I'll just flip the record when it's done.
Okay.
Great gig.
And for me, it would be watching every Friday night, because you go out, get good and hammered, come home, watch it when you're drunk, pass out, you wake up the next day, memory's gone.
Hope
It's
so.
a lifetime of it, though.
You got to figure, though, eventually that memory would just like inception its way into your brain, and you get into some dark, twisted shit.
I'm also going to throw this out there, too. Like, depending on the age of your parents, they might be asleep, like, by the time the news hits. So you better go out right away during happy hour. And you better hope that buzz carries you. Because it's not like they're like, oh, let's get busy at 2 a.m. Like, I can't remember the last time my parents stayed up past midnight. So
I think I'm kind of with you, JJ. The participation thing once, and you don't even have to, say how much you're going to participate. I just like throw on a Wild Kingdom episode on Netflix, watch that, and listen to the fuck sounds coming out of the back.
I could get super drunk before that too.
Yeah,
and then I'd have like a month-long bender.
Right, you're just throwing in an occasional stroke and a squeeze, and that's it. You're not really paying attention to what's going on. You're thinking about baseball or something.
Little pinch and tickle.
How come you don't have to answer any of these?
I've been answering all of them. This one, I would also rather participate once. I'm not going to give up every Friday.
I guess you have it. I've got very bad memory retention, so short-term memory is kind of shot.
Okay, would you rather fuck your best friend of the same sex or lick your dad's dick?
Best friend.
Jack already answered.
We had better start this podcast off with a super not safe for work, not safe for home.
It's called trigger warning.
Oh, Lord.
Sorry.
What was it, a lick or what now?
You gotta fuck your best friend of the same sex or lick your dad's dick.
Oh, man.
I've shaved my best friend's back.
Okay.
When we were going bird dogging at a Dave Matthews Band concert. Uh-huh. So I feel like I could probably make that work. Also, there.
How do you?
So like,
how do you segue from shaving a back?
Have you ever shaved? First of all, it's a full-on sexual encounter with the best friend.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: have you ever shaved another man's back? It's a very intimate experience.
I would imagine.
I have, but I think that makes sense. Yeah.
So
and the whole time you're like, oh, you're gonna be smooth for the ladies, buddy. You are smooth like a baby.
I was feeling like, well, let me just get this a little more right here. Let me make sure. And Britta knows the person I'm talking about,
seriously,
too.
screw the buddy.
Yeah, I'm
well, let's make it a foursome, I guess.
Because it doesn't say it's just us, right? It just says so. Like
but
that could have been.
It says. Yeah, so it says fuck your best friend of the same sex. So
right, but
it doesn't have to be just you two, but you do have to fuck your best friend.
It could be a nice little group effort, and all of a sudden, like, someone slips.
You're like, oh, hey, look who's doing it now.
Whoops.
You and me, mano a mano.
I can't even do it.
For me, it's best friend. And I think that, and this might sound sexist, but I think that is easier to answer for as a girl. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, like it doesn't even bother me.
So
clearly, you haven't seen my best friend.
Yeah. Let's amend this for you then, since it's easier and you don't get it as easy. Somebody in this room, or lick your father's tallywhacker.
I would rather have sex with someone in this room than lick my dad's dick.
Gentlemen,
And I will even put that at anyone in this room rather than lick my dad's dick.
What about this? Right. All of us in this room.
I don't know if my body can take it, but I'm willing to try.
You didn't say all at once.
Just once. In and out once. Are we good with these? There is one more, but it's really just a guy one.
Throw it out there.
Would you rather have 2 dicks in your ass or 3 dicks in your mouth?
Oh, jeez. How big are they?
Big enough to hurt? I don't know. It doesn't specify how big.
But small enough to get 3 of them in your mouth.
I don't want any rectal damage. I guess I'd have to go with the mouth.
3 dicks in your mouth.
3 dicks in my mouth. Yes.
Do we get to pick whose dicks they are?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Tom Hardy.
Yeah. That was number 1. I'm going Mad Max, Iron Man, and Captain America. Boom.
Definitely not the Incredible Hulk.
No. No.
If I had to in this situation,
Triple dipping.
I would probably pick in my mouth as well.
Okay.
Just because.
But you have such a
You
small
have
mouth.
such a tiny
I
mouth.
know I have such a very small mouth, but this will surprise you guys. I've got a very small, tight rump. It's
no surprise.
I just feel like at that point, like feel like I've got more control.
You're not
situation.
I'm not being as violated.
You know, like I can always like and like spit and like back out. Like so, if it's finally like 5 minutes, I can and push out of my mouth versus like not really pushing much from the other end unless they get an unwanted surprise.
Yeah, I would also take the mouth. But once again, I think that's really a lot easier for me to answer.
Because it's happened to you.
That's so funny.
We were all juniors in high school once.
Do you know that guy too? Or
Yeah, I know both of those guys. 2 of them are twins.
I was on my bucket list. Now that we all know so much more about each other, I hope this is useful to Sheila, and we get $50 for it.
Split 5 ways, so that's $10 a piece.
$10 for
worth it.
Feeling dirty inside and out.
And maybe they'll be able to use these scenarios for some films that we can review later on the podcast.
You can find anything on the internet.
And I also think this was a good team building exercise.
Yes, definitely.
I think we're much stronger for it.
For instance, next time we travel, I think I'm going to be the one in the hotel room by himself.
Okay.
And then you 3 guys can be in the other room. That's the way I think it's going to wind down.
All right. I think that's enough for a show. Mm-hmm. We'll have a very strong warning at the beginning of this podcast.
Yep.
Yes, definitely.
If we forgot to put it on there, I apologize. If you're hearing this now and you say, hey, what the fuck? What did I just listen to?
We called it trigger warning for a reason. We eased you in, and then this one was a slap in the face.
My virgin ears.
It was highly offensive. All right, for the Trigger Warning Podcast, I'm Scratch Masterson.
And I'm Babyface Nelson.
I'm Superfan Ozzy.
I would apparently fuck Tom Hardy.
And I'm Burrito Supreme.
All right, we'll see you on episode 5. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.